All Her Fault opens with an unsettling scene that sets the tone for the series. Marissa Irvine arrives at what she believes to be the home of her friend Jenny to pick up her young son Milo after a planned playdate. But when the door opens, confusion quickly takes over. Milo is nowhere to be found. The woman at the door, Esther, insists that no child named Milo has been there. Marissa checks her phone and rereads the text message from Jenny, confirming the address. Everything seems correct, yet something is terribly wrong. Trying to make sense of the situation, Esther invites Marissa inside. Together, they go over the message again. According to the text, Jenny's son Jacob and Milo were supposed to be spending time together under the supervision of a nanny. When Esther asks whether Marissa knows Jenny well, Marissa admits that they only met briefly at their children's school and bonded at a fair. She's never actually been to Jenny's house before, so she assumes it must be a simple mix-up, perhaps an autocorrect error in the message. Hoping to clarify things, she calls her nanny Anna, but Anna doesn't answer. As it turns out, Anna is away for a few days attending a wedding out of town. Esther suggests contacting another parent to check who picked up Milo after school. Marissa calls Sarah, the class parent representative, asking if she has another number for Jenny. But Sarah's answer only deepens the mystery. She's currently with Jenny's son, Jacob. She sends Jenny's number anyway, and when Marissa calls, Jenny sounds completely confused. She's at work and has no idea what Marissa is talking about. She never arranged any playdate. As Marissa's panic mounts, Esther takes over the call to explain the situation, but the truth begins to dawn on them. Something is very wrong. Marissa next calls her husband Peter, hoping he might have collected Milo, but he hasn't. She and Esther rush home, clinging to the hope that Milo has somehow found his way back. Instead, they find Peter's brother Brian at the guest house, but no sign of Milo. Peter arrives moments later, and as the reality of the situation hits, they contact the police. When the police arrive, Marissa explains everything she knows. She dropped Milo off at school that morning, received a text from Jenny in the afternoon suggesting a play date, and agreed because she had a work meeting and her nanny was unavailable. Anna is from Chile and has worked for their family for about a year. She had taken a few days off to attend a wedding with her boyfriend's family. The officers press Marissa about the text. Did she verify it came from Jenny? Marissa admits she didn't. She hadn't saved all the school mom's numbers and simply assumed it was Jenny because the text was signed with her name. Meanwhile, Jenny, equally shaken, calls her husband Richie to tell him about the bizarre phone call from Marissa. She sends him to pick up their son Jacob, worried that this confusion could make them look bad. Later, she chats with Sarah, who seizes the moment to gossip about Marissa, criticizing her for hiring a nanny and for being too trusting. Jenny defends her new friend, recalling when they first met at the start of the school year. She remembers laughing with Marissa at a parents' meeting when Marissa challenged Sarah over unnecessary school events. Around that same time, their nannies, Anna and Carrie, had also met at the playground. Back at the Irvine home, the investigation continues. Peter's sister Leah arrives to support them, while Marissa's colleague Colin shows up to take over her workload. Still desperate for answers, Marissa keeps trying to reach Anna. Her heart sinks when she finds Anna's phone lying on the patio sofa, left behind and switched off. The police collect it as evidence. Elsewhere, Jenny is at work, meeting with a potential client, Lee Logan, when she gets several messages from Richie asking about Jacob's bedtime routine. Irritated, she steps out to call home, soothing her son and promising to be there soon. At the same time, Anna finally reappears at the Irvine home, shocked to find police officers waiting. Everyone demands to know where Milo is, but she looks just as confused as they are. Moments later, a lead emerges. Milo's teacher returns the police's call and reports that Milo was picked up earlier by a woman named Carrie Finch, Jenny's nanny. Jenny races home to find a police car outside and fears the worst. She bursts into her son's room, relieved to see Jacob safe, but horrified to learn that Carrie is now the prime suspect. Jenny tells detectives that Carrie had worked for them for 3 months and had seemed trustworthy, though there was one strange incident when Jenny thought Carrie was about to strike Jacob, only to realize she was swatting a fly. The police suggest that Carrie may have planned the abduction for weeks, targeting Jenny as a way to get access to Marissa's son. Back with the Irvines, the case intensifies. Detectives Greco and Alcaras take over, revealing that Milo's GPS tracker was found destroyed behind the school. Time is running out, and no ransom or message has been received. When Marissa asks what happens if the kidnapper never contacts them, Peter's composure cracks. Overcome by anger and fear, he blames Marissa for not verifying the text. Hurt and devastated, she leaves the house in tears, only to run into Jenny outside. The two women embrace, bound by guilt and grief. In a flash forward 27 days later, detectives discuss shocking new developments. Someone connected to the case has killed a person and arrived with her lawyer, ready to talk, but not, apparently, about the kidnapping itself. In a flashback to 5 years ago, Marissa and Peter bring home their newly born son Milo from the hospital. Marissa is exhausted and struggling with motherhood, while Peter doesn't quite seem to understand the demands. Night feedings, baby insomnia, the pressure of being a working mom, feeling very solitary. Back in the present, Marissa watches old home videos of Milo, clinging to every memory as the search continues. She orders large billboards with Milo's picture to go up along highways, hoping someone somewhere will see. Meanwhile, her marriage to Peter remains tense, the crisis exposing underlying cracks. Colin, Marissa's business partner and friend, stops by to offer help. The plan is a major press conference that afternoon to generate leads and hopefully prompt contact from the kidnapper. Over at Jenny's house, she is picking up the pieces after the police dismantled her nanny Carrie's room. She reflects on how Carrie always seemed kind with her son Jacob, but now they discover Carrie used a false identity and all her references were fake. Carrie had randomly asked for a day off on the 25th, which raises a red flag. Richie, Jenny's husband, blames her for not doing her homework. The police detectives, Detective Alcaras and Detective Greco, are under pressure. There's still no ransom call. They note a curious overlap. Peter took a leave of absence on the same day Carrie did. Could Peter and Carrie be connected? Alcaras and Greco watch the Irvine family closely, every odd move and hidden calendar entry. At the press conference, the Irvine family faces the glaring spotlight. Reporters ask hard questions about the family's past business dealings. Marissa gets a prank call during the live feed, and social media starts digging into their wedding photos and wealth. Leah, Peter's sister, defends Marissa fiercely, while Peter steps in to deal with the media when Marissa becomes overwhelmed. Marissa enlists Jenny's help to build a website dedicated to finding Milo. Jenny pivots from her own crisis to helping Marissa. As they speak about Carrie, Marissa asks, was she capable of hurting children? Jenny insists Carrie was always good with Jacob, unlikely to be violent, but that doesn't mean she wasn't dangerous. Marissa realizes she has almost no one else to turn to except Peter's family and his friends. Meanwhile, Anna tells police she knows nothing about Carrie. Next, we see the Irvine family as they return from yet another standoff with the police. Soon after, Anna knocks at the door. Marissa, having texted Detective Alcaras that Anna was found, sits down with her. Anna admits that she and the accused nanny, Carrie Finch, were in fact friends. She reveals that Carrie took a peculiar interest in Milo and his family. So many questions, so many casual requests to see him, even when not on duty. On one occasion, they were all in the city, Anna and Milo, and Carrie showed up with a man Anna didn't recognize. That man disappeared after a brief argument with Carrie in front of Milo. Anna says she never got a proper look at him. Meanwhile, the detectives, Alcaras and his partner Greco, arrive at the Irvine residence to ask further questions about a recent city marathon that Peter participated in. Carrie, Anna, and the Irvines were all present. Marissa collapses into guilt. She had asked Anna to join as extra help while Marissa met a few clients. In her absence, Carrie spent time with Milo. Peter tries to reassure her, but she tells him to stop. She's slipping into self-blame and needs space, even as he promises they will face this together. Elsewhere, Colin begins organizing a door-to-door canvassing effort around Milo's school neighborhood. He thanks Marissa for trusting him despite his recent issues, including taking money from a client's account. At the station, the detectives focus more sharply on the marathon. Why was Carrie there? Why did Anna leave her phone behind at the snack stand while she joined the boys? The puzzle pieces begin to form a disturbing pattern. Carrie's interest in Milo, Anna's complicity by omission, Peter's leave that same day. Each item raises a new question. One hint: Peter's leave of absence aligns with Carrie taking time off. Alcaras wonders if there's more than coincidence. Back at the Irvine home, the family scrubs their social media presence, deleting posts, removing anything that could look bad. Peter grows increasingly agitated, slipping away to make a mysterious phone call. Name your price. His actions raise alarm in Brian and Leah, who share a look of fear and confusion. Next, a man arrives at a convenience store and buys several boxes of mac and cheese, then returns to his car to find little Milo Irvine in the back seat. His hair is no longer blonde. He asks Milo if he likes his vacation bed, promises to take him back soon. Milo asks about Carrie Finch, and the man replies that Carrie is too famous and has to hide. He then places a gun on the passenger seat. Meanwhile, Detective Alcaras and his partner Greco contend with life at home and the pressure of the investigation. At home, Alcaras and his wife talk about their son Sam's school lottery chances, their guilt over relying on connections surfaces. Then, at work, Alcaras prepares a Skittles packet for Sam as distraction, and he speaks with Jenny, hoping that her son Jacob will identify the mysterious man from the store. But Jacob doesn't recognize him. No useful leads yet. Alcaras is also confronted with corruption. The school lottery official, Rick, asks him for a favor: to swap Xanax for Tylenol in a student's drug test. Alcaras refuses, but the moral burden weighs on him. This subplot underlines how personal and professional boundaries are collapsing under pressure. On the public front, the police release the photo of the mysterious man for citizen recognition. They trace a woman, Esther, who identifies the man as Kyle, her former foster son, now just out of prison. She says she had no idea he could be involved. Meanwhile, the detectives find that Carrie visited Kyle in prison a week before his release. They stake out his old construction company and discover Carrie's rented house, blood under the sink. Forensics are called, and a body is reported found in a lake. In a parallel moment of deception, Alcaras quietly commits the favor he refused earlier. He swaps the Xanax for Tylenol at the station, betraying his own ethics. Later, Sam receives confirmation that he has been accepted into the school, the one the deal was about, just as Alcaras receives word of the body in the lake. Next, we see Detective Alcaras updating the Irvines and Colin about the latest developments in Milo's case. He notes that Carrie Finch seems to genuinely care for Milo, but the police are still struggling to catch her. While the others focus on Carrie's elusiveness, Marissa presses Alcaras about Kyle's death, and Peter visibly panics when he learns Carrie is armed. Alcaras then presents a frog doll belonging to Milo and asks the group when they last saw it. It turns out the doll went missing during the Easter weekend they all spent at the ranch, before Anna was even hired. This revelation implies that Carrie had met Milo long before she became the family's nanny. No one can recall exactly when the doll disappeared, but it seems only the 5 of them were present at the ranch that weekend. After Alcaras leaves, the group reflects on that Easter weekend. Peter mentions going on a juice run, but no one recalls inviting any outsiders over. His suspicious gaze falls on Leah, prompting Marissa to force him to directly ask if Leah had her dealer over that weekend. Leah insists she didn't, and Colin defends her. Marissa, frustrated by the tension, urges everyone to work together to solve the puzzle without fighting. She then begins preparing the house for an upcoming news interview. Leah is offended that she wasn't told about the interview sooner. Peter excuses himself after receiving a text. Meanwhile, Marissa remembers that Brian, Colin, and Leah had left the ranch that Easter weekend, claiming they visited an art gallery. Just then, a delivery man drops off Milo's birthday cake. Marissa realizes she forgot to cancel the order. Colin and Peter immediately clash over Peter's suspicious behavior toward Leah. To stop the argument, Marissa cleans the couch and sends Peter out to get upholstery cleaner, dismissing everyone else and calling the gallery to verify their story. At the same time, Jenny calls Richie to ask if he can watch Jacob while she visits Marissa. Richie complains, arguing that Saturdays are his only day off, and gaslights Jenny into questioning her contributions to their marriage. Eventually, they agree to try harder. Jenny arrives at Marissa's house, makes her tea, and helps her prepare for the interview. Marissa shares the shocking news that Carrie knew Milo before working for Jenny, which leaves Jenny equally stunned. Marissa learns from the art gallery that Brian, Colin, and Leah lied about their whereabouts. Confronting Brian, he admits they visited a living facility. He wants to move out, but fears Peter won't cope with his absence. Peter, meanwhile, returns with cleaning supplies and finds Jenny at the house. He apologizes for his tension regarding Carrie and asks Jenny to allow him to care for Marissa that night. Jenny leaves without saying goodbye to Marissa. Later, Marissa discovers Peter cleaning the couch and is furious that he sent Jenny away without consulting her. She lashes out at him, asking him to stop acting independently. Peter shares that his favorite moments with Milo are during nightmares when the boy needs him. He later prepares dinner for Brian and expresses sorrow over Brian's accident, admitting he was in the kitchen when it happened, but omitting the full truth. Peter also notes Brian's medicine is nearly gone, assuming Leah relapsed. Colin returns, and Marissa confronts him for lying about the gallery. Colin admits he and Leah went on a date after dropping Brian off. Peter overhears and expresses concern about their relationship, fearing a relapse. Marissa echoes his worry. Later, a drunk Brian causes chaos in the house, questioning Peter about the accident and demanding the truth. Leah storms in with a negative drug test, and Marissa discovers Brian's missing pills in the pantry, exposing Peter's assumptions and lies. Brian confesses that he enjoys using his wheelchair and views it as a symbol of freedom, though Peter believes otherwise. The argument escalates, revealing that Peter allowed Leah to take the blame for Brian's accident all these years. Marissa is overwhelmed by the family drama, and Leah accuses Peter of contributing to Milo's disappearance. Marissa breaks down in tears, feeling the stifling weight of her marriage, while Peter approaches to comfort her. But she pushes him away. The episode ends with a phone call from the police. A little boy matching Milo's description has been found at the station. The family is left in suspense. Marissa and Peter rush to the police station, where they're reunited with their son. Relief floods the room, though Milo appears unaware that he's been kidnapped. When he asks about Carrie, the atmosphere shifts instantly. Detectives Alcaras and Greco assure the parents that Milo is physically unharmed. They question him, hoping for clues about Carrie, but all Milo remembers is that she let him eat Fruit Loops and that someone drove fast while he was locked in the trunk. Marissa wonders why the kidnappers let him go, but Alcaras has no answers. Peter uses the reunion to mend fences with his siblings, insisting that family is all that matters. Marissa, though, can't shake her paranoia. She fears Carrie will return for Milo. Meanwhile, the detectives investigate the park where Milo was found, searching nearby motels for leads. The next morning, Marissa helps Milo get ready for the day. He innocently mentions that Carrie played dress-up with him and was kind. This unsettles Marissa even more. Across town, Jenny is relieved at the news of Milo's return, though her husband Richie treats it as a relief for himself rather than sympathy for Marissa. Jenny reminds him that she genuinely cares about her friend. At breakfast, Milo throws a tantrum when denied Fruit Loops. Marissa admits to Peter that she's struggling emotionally. Peter reassures her and sets up extra security around the house. Soon after, Alcaras visits with motel photos, asking Milo to identify where he stayed. Milo recognizes one. The detectives also question Marissa about a ransom payment, but she insists none was ever made. Later, Jenny and her son Jacob visit. Marissa shares her fears about Carrie, but the boys begin to argue over who Carrie loved more, forcing Jenny to leave. Meanwhile, at the motel, police uncover a man's body and a birthday cake. The victim turns out to be a bookie named Rob Murphy, and they begin to suspect a connection to Carrie. When Alcaras calls Marissa with the grim discovery, she panics. Carrie now appears responsible for 2 deaths. That night, Peter comforts her, promising to protect their family. Elsewhere, Jenny juggles motherhood and work stress. When her boss Lee demands a strategy meeting, she asks Sarah for childcare help. Sarah agrees, but not without guilt-tripping her into joining a school fundraiser. Later, when Sarah cancels last minute, Jenny discovers Richie lounging in his car, snacking and scrolling on his phone instead of helping. Furious, Jenny confronts him. He claims he was giving her more time with Jacob. Jenny finally snaps, demanding a divorce. Marissa, searching for an old baby monitor, instead discovers a hidden bag of money. Confronting Peter, she learns he received a ransom call but never told her. He insists the caller never followed up, so he didn't pay. Marissa is furious. His secrecy could have endangered them all. Just then, Alcaras calls again, revealing that the dead man was Rob Murphy, Carrie's father. The pieces start to connect, and Marissa grows suspicious of Colin's possible involvement since Rob was a bookie and Colin has a gambling past. She digs through company files and spots financial irregularities, confronting Peter about whether Colin could be involved in Milo's abduction. Moments later, Colin and Leah arrive, accidentally setting off the new alarms. Marissa immediately presses Colin, who admits to gambling again but insists he plans to repay his debts. She demands to know if he knew Rob or met him that Easter weekend. As they argue, Carrie quietly slips into the house, armed and dangerous. Next, we delve into Carrie's past, finally revealing the heartbreaking story behind her obsession with Milo. The episode begins 6 years ago, introducing us to a young, hopeful Josephine Murphy, Carrie's real name, who is pregnant and dreaming of a better life with her boyfriend, Kyle. She uses her mother's credit card to prepare for the baby's arrival, vowing to work hard and build a future for their little family. But things fall apart when Kyle turns to dealing drugs to support them and ends up getting arrested. His imprisonment devastates Josephine, and tragedy soon follows when she loses the baby. Broken and grieving, she moves back in with her mother, Irene, whose harsh, condescending attitude only deepens her pain. Irene dismisses Josephine's trauma as madness and forces her to repay the stolen credit card money. Emotionally numb, Josephine works to pay off her debts, though life feels empty. Years later, after clearing her mother's debt, Josephine begins working for her father, Rob Murphy. She learns the grim truth about his line of work. He's a loan shark. One of his clients, Colin, owes him money. During an Easter weekend, Rob takes Josephine along to confront Colin at the ranch, unaware that this visit will change everything. While waiting outside, Josephine wanders into the fields and meets little Milo. The boy's imagination captivates her, especially when he explains how he named his frog doll Mr. Chips, because some words taste like food. The moment sparks something inside Josephine. When Milo leaves his doll behind, she takes it, unknowingly beginning a dangerous obsession. Haunted by the encounter, Josephine begins following the Irvines and collecting children's items, pretending she's preparing for a life she lost. When Irene confronts her, the fight turns violent. Josephine nearly strangles her mother. Irene kicks her out, and Josephine reinvents herself completely. She becomes Carrie, fabricating a new identity with a tragic backstory. Carrie secures work as a nanny with Jenny and uses that position to grow closer to Milo, eventually plotting the perfect way to take him. Her opportunity comes when Jenny befriends Marissa, and Carrie orchestrates a fake playdate to kidnap Milo. Before the abduction, Josephine visits Kyle in prison, apologizing for her absence and confessing her plan to reunite with their son. Kyle is horrified, insisting she's delusional, but Josephine manipulates him, convincing him to help. He eventually gives in out of love, and together they carry out the kidnapping. At first, Milo enjoys what he believes is a vacation. Josephine showers him with affection, but soon he grows homesick and asks for his mother. Kyle pushes Josephine to return him, but new problems arise when they try to secure Milo's passport. Desperate, Josephine contacts her father, Rob, for help. Rob, ever the opportunist, sees a chance for profit. He becomes the anonymous ransom caller who contacts Peter, demanding money. He hides his involvement from both Josephine and Kyle. But when Kyle's name hits the news, Rob orders Josephine and Milo to wait for him at his motel while he handles things. Instead, he betrays Kyle, shooting him in cold blood. Back at the motel, Josephine discovers Rob's gun and later returns to find him dead and Milo missing. Searching his pockets, she finds his phone with a voice recording that reveals everything. Overcome by grief and guilt, Josephine walks to the ocean and contemplates ending it all, until she sees a news report confirming Kyle's death. Flashbacks reveal the root of her delusion. After the accident years ago, Josephine believed her baby Noah survived. Though doctors insisted he died, she swore she could still hear him crying. They dismissed it as trauma, telling her she was confusing Noah's cries with another baby's, Milo's. This revelation reframes everything. Josephine believes Milo is her long-lost son. In the present, Josephine, now fully Carrie, sneaks into the Irvine home as the family argues. No one notices her until she steps into the living room, gun in hand. At the same moment, Detective Alcaras calls Peter, asking if he knows a woman named Josephine Murphy. Before he can respond, Carrie declares through tears, "He is my son. You have my son." Colin tries to play the hero and ends up getting shot in the abdomen for his troubles. Carrie allows Leah to call the ambulance and wait for them at the gate. She also allows Brian to head upstairs and stay with Milo. Unfortunately, Colin bleeds out on the floor and dies. Well, we quickly learn that Milo is her biological son. 6 years ago, the Irvines got into an accident on their way home from the hospital. Carrie, whose real name is Josephine Murphy, was also involved in the accident with her son, Noah. Both Noah and Milo were born on the same day. After the crash, Peter was the first to gain consciousness. He turned back and saw that Marissa and their son were badly hurt. The real Milo was dead, and Peter decided to switch him with Carrie's baby. Carrie heard her baby crying, but everyone told her that she was hallucinating. No one ever believed her. Carrie goes on to beg Marissa to protect Milo from Peter. She's about to show Marissa some evidence on her phone when Peter moves towards her. Carrie falls back and tries to get free from Peter. He grabs the gun and a struggle ensues, even though Carrie basically lets him have the gun. Peter turns the gun on Carrie and shoots her. He acts like it is self-defense, but Marissa knows it was an execution. She demands the truth and threatens to tell the police the truth about Carrie's death. Trapped, Peter finally admits to the baby swap he carried out 6 years ago. He makes Marissa promise to hide the truth so that they don't lose Milo. The police soon arrive, and Marissa quickly grabs Carrie's phone and hides it in her pocket. Later, Peter tells the police that he acted in self-defense, and Marissa backs him up. She checks Carrie's phone and finds a voice recording of Peter killing Carrie's dad in the motel. Rob was supposed to meet Peter and get the ransom money. However, he made a mistake when he threatened to reveal Milo's true origin to the press. Peter killed him and then covered Milo's face and drove him near the police station. Presently, Peter follows Marissa and demands Carrie's phone to destroy the evidence. He tells her about rescuing Milo at the motel and leaving him near the police station. In the meantime, Marissa starts to feel trapped. She worries that she can't divorce Peter and take Milo. Of course, she knows how that will end for her. She also can't go to the police. They will take Milo from her. She confides the truth to Jenny, who reminds her that Milo is her son, and she shouldn't allow anyone to take him. In the meantime, Leah focuses on hosting Colin's wake. Marissa helps her and ensures that Leah has everything in order, including the food. However, on the day of the wake, Marissa intentionally ingests soy, which Peter is deathly allergic to. She then passionately kisses him, causing an allergic reaction. As it turns out, she had also intentionally put an expired EpiPen in his jacket and conveniently forgot the emergency EpiPen in the car. Leah calls the ambulance, but they are 8 minutes away, and no one has an EpiPen on them. They all watch as Peter breathes his last, waiting for the ambulance. Meanwhile, Alcaras discovers the truth about Milo. He had earlier taken Sam to register for the new school, and one of the questions was about synesthesia. Alcaras puts the pieces of the puzzle together when he learns it is a genetic neurodivergent condition. He talks to the paramedic who responded to the accident and discovers that Peter was the only one conscious at the accident scene. As he leaves the hospital, Greco calls and informs him that Peter is dead. The police bring Leah in, hoping to prove that Marissa intentionally killed Peter. Leah protects Marissa because she was hurt by the last words Peter said to her. He pretty much blamed her for Colin's death. It was almost as if he wanted to trigger her to relapse. With no solid evidence, Peter's death is ruled a tragic accident. After Peter's death, Marissa moves to a house across from Jenny's place. She and Jenny spend their time watching the boys and having friendly conversations over wine. Alcaras takes Sam to his new school and makes peace with what he had to do to get him there. He also visits Marissa and tells her about his findings. However, he assures her that the case is over and he is at peace knowing justice was served. He thought he would have a hard time letting the case go, but he didn't. He tells Marissa about Milo's condition and asks her to keep an eye on it. Marissa is left stunned and grateful that Alcaras understood her decisions. The show ends with Marissa and Jenny watching the kids play as they drink wine.